Wow, welcome, 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 everybody. Absolutely incredible. Here we are, Sunday, the 16th of January, online on Zoom for this free EFT masterclass. Let me just check you're attending the right seminar. Are you here for electronic fund transfer or emotional freedom techniques? If you're here for electronic fund transfer, give me a 1 in chat. If you're here for emotional freedom techniques, give me a 2 in chat. I want you to know this seminar is on emotional freedom techniques. Now, once I was invited to a seminar to speak on EFT, and there I went, ready to talk about emotions, and it was to a group of stockbrokers who thought they were going to get a talk on electronic fund transfer. The only fund transfer that's happening here today in the next 3 hours that we are going to be together for is from negative emotions to positive emotions. That's the only fund transfer going to be happening with us this Sunday afternoon. Now, let me just check in. I can see there are so many new names here today. I can see there's so many people that I've actually personally never met before. And there's so many people that I have met before. My voice is not that audible. Let me see if I speak a little bit louder. Is that better? So that am I more audible right now? Is that more audible now?
Yes, I think your voice is a little muted somewhere. If you can just increase the volume.
My voice, there is volume to be muted from my end. Okay, is that better?
Much better, much better.
Okay, great. So let me check in with all of you. Who am I meeting for the very first time? Give me a 1 in chat. Who am I meeting for the very first time? Give me a 1 in chat. Wow, welcome. Gosh, so many of you. Daniel, Vishal, Aditi, Richa, Janvi, Jyoti, Ashwarya, Mukti, Rutu, Debashri, Parul, Sunandini, Sulata, Rajiv. Wow. Anita, Richie, who have I met before? Give me a 2 in chat. Mukesh, Sanjana, Sheetal, Tanisha. Amazing. Wow. Dr. Grishma, Ananya, Divishu, Harpreet. Wow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anthony Pinto, welcome. Sandhya, Ardisa, Jyoti. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Ranjana, welcome, Ranjana. Ankita, Ajay, Megan, Paramita, Kumari, Amir, wow, amazing. And then so many of you, and whoever I've met before, Heyman, Nafisa, Heal with Love, Dimple, lovely to see you, Darshita, Gautam, wow, so many here that I've met before or I'm meeting for the very first time. Well, from all my heart, a very, very warm welcome. Go ahead and begin and take a breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. The reason to breathe out through the mouth is it rebalances the lymph system. You'll notice my accent is a little bit English, and sometimes I can be a little bit Indian too. So let me just explain the reason that is. I'm born in Singapore, and then I moved to India. Both my parents are originally from India. They're actually refugees into India, one from Sindh and the other from Bangladesh. And then I went to school in the United Kingdom. So I did my kind of secondary education, and I did my university education in England. So sometimes I have an English accent. And then also I am originally Indian. So sometimes my accent can also go Indian as well. So I'm just letting you know that I'm not confused or psychotic or, have some mental health disorder. It's just that I have a lot of accents. Sometimes I can even sound Australian or South African, because my belief is that when you have lived in so many parts of the world, eventually you sound Australian or South African, by the way. So am I allowed to speak in the accent that I have? Can you give me a 100 in chat, please? And you'll accept me no matter what. Second is, am I allowed to make mistakes? Give me a 1000 in chat if I'm allowed to make mistakes. If I'm allowed to make mistakes, guys, then all of you are also allowed to make mistakes. So I loved reading your messages in chat. I noticed some of you were very forward in WhatsApp chat. You've shared the reason you were here, and some of you are a little bit more shy. One of the reasons I get that information up front is I'm trying to work out, where do I need to focus on this talk today? Where do I need to focus on this talk today? That's the reason I get this information, because I customize it for everybody. Hi, Andrew. So what I would like to know from all of you right now, how many of you are here for personal development? Give me a PD in chat. Personal development or healing, give me a PD in chat. You're here because you want to heal something within you, emotionally, mentally, stress-wise, anxiety-wise. Of course, I will cover questions and answers towards the end, and I will stay as long as I need to be able to cover those questions and answers. In case I miss your question, at the end, you will get access to how you can ask me your question personally as well. Now, let me ask the second question here. How many of you on this call are either a therapist, healer, coach, yoga teacher in the helping profession? Give me an H in chat. Give me an H in chat for helping profession. If you're either a therapist, healer, you've done Reiki, yoga, Ayurveda, and you're in the profession where you have already professionally qualified in something or want to qualify in something and make a difference to the lives of others. Lovely, lovely to meet you. Some of you will be both PD and H. That is also okay. If you are both PD and H, give me a 3 in chat, because therapists, healers, coaches, psychologists, you know that personal development is where the action is at. Like if we are going to help somebody else and make a difference in their life, make a difference in their world, then of course we've got to be able to have our own self-care and self-healing as well. Now, give me a C in chat if you do not fall in any of those categories, but you're just curious. You're just like, I wonder what this is about. I'm just a little bit curious. You know, I either got an ad or my friend told me to come, and so here I am. Knowing whichever category you fall in, you are completely welcome, and we are here to support you. Okay, so let me get started with today's topic, which is the EFT Masterclass, and it's about how to get fast therapeutic results either for yourself or fast therapeutic results for the people you work with without compromising on safety in any way, to feel happy, at peace, and relaxed. Now, who is this for? If you either work with someone with any of these symptoms or you face these symptoms yourself. So if you work with someone or you yourself have headaches, pain, migraines, emotional eating, you have fears, or perhaps you have physical body symptoms, blood pressure, irritable bowel syndrome. Perhaps you have some heart challenge going on, or diabetes, or perhaps a fear or a phobia. Or you're just like a health nut. You love to learn about health and wellness, and you want to be in peak performance. Or maybe you have experienced some trauma in your lifetime, or you work with people with trauma and you want to explore how to release that trauma and how to feel much more balanced and centered and at peace with yourself. Now, this is also for those people who want to learn about an emotional wellness or therapy technique. They want self-healing, self-development, and enhancement. They're already in the helping therapy or coaching profession. They want to help themselves and others, or they might be seeking a new profession. If you're seeking a new profession, like I was 15 years ago, give me an N in chat. You're seeking to become qualified as a counselor, a therapist, a healer, or a coach. Give me an N in chat. Or you're just curious. Now, some of you are here because you want to help your children and family, or you want to identify and release emotional patterns, or perhaps you want to lose weight and have better health, build confidence and self-esteem, boost your career and emotional balance, or you're just in revision mode. You've attended this before and you want to revise it. In our time together, I'm going to cover 4 main things. The first thing is, how do our emotions and stress contribute to ill health? The second thing is, how can you reverse the negative effects of stress and create health? The third is, what is emotional freedom techniques and how does it provide therapeutic results quickly? And the fourth is, How can you help others heal and make it a profession? If you would like me to cover something else, or you don't fall in the categories I have described, can you please write in chat so my team will collect those, and then I will have a look at it as we come towards the end of the masterclass, and I can share with you how you can address those areas as well. So you will learn in our time together everything. You can't hear my voice still, Sudha? My voice is it okay? You will learn everything you need to know to relieve stress for yourself and others before it becomes a bigger health problem, to feel peace, calm, relaxed, and being in control of your emotions. This is not a coaching and therapy session, but a training. I'm not doing therapy with you, but I'm teaching you how can you do therapy on yourself. I'm teaching you how can you learn the skills for yourself. And I'm teaching you, for those who want to professionally learn it, how can you do that? This is not a do nothing and feel calm at peace. There will be times when I will say to you, tap along with me. And I want you to do exactly what I'm doing, because then you will notice a benefit. This is not how to take a magic pill and feel okay either. You must be able to learn and put the work in to get the results. Let me get started with the main content. I remember when I was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 29, I was in Florida and I lived in a small town called Clearwater, facing the ocean. I lived in a beautiful part of Florida. And one day I got a phone call from my gynecologist, and she said, I have cancer and I need to come in and get surgery and chemotherapy. You see, I have a PhD in cancer research from Oxford University. I never expected one day my gynecologist would call me and say, you have cancer. Ironically, the cancer in my body, if you Google my name, Rangana and Cancer Research Journal, I have a published paper on the same cancer I was diagnosed with, that I worked with the cells in a laboratory in London called the Ludwig Cancer Institute. And I wish back then, when I was diagnosed, or even before, I knew this amazing fact, which is 85% of illness is stress related. How many of you know this? Give me an S in chat. For how many of you this is new? If it is new for you, give me an N in chat. I wish I had known it all those years ago, because then I would have worked so much harder to manage my stress. Even when I became diagnosed, I didn't know that illness and stress were related. Please remind me to tell you at the end what actually happened with the cancer at the end. 90% of doctor visits are stress related, by the way. I remember in Florida, I was having this severe neck and shoulder pain, and I went to see the top orthopedic surgeon in Florida, and he gave me a book on relaxation and meditation. He said, you need to bring your stress down. There is nothing wrong with your physical body. It is also the leading cause of divorce, weight gain, obesity, and addiction. There was a study done in California at an institute known as Kaiser Permanente. And in Kaiser Permanente, they conducted one of the largest psychological studies on 70,000 patients. And what they found is, if as a child you have unresolved emotional upsets, if as a child you have unresolved emotional upsets, that later on in life that can result in heart disease, cancer, lung disease, low self-confidence, and addictive patterns. And this was categorical proof that once you work on, this was categorical proof that our emotions can determine our health. Categorical proof. Now, what was staggering though, is that when those same patients could receive some kind of an intervention, that helps them to feel calmer or more at ease or more balanced, they can reverse the illness. How incredible is that? That when you get to work on your emotional state, you can reverse the negative effects of illness. And I'm going to share more with you on that. If that's something that excites you to know, that our emotional state, our thoughts can actually determine our physical well-being. Give me an E in chat if you like, wow, this is an incredible concept, because it has major implications for your children. It has major implications for your friends. It has major implications for the people in your life. Now, the next fact is suppressed emotions. So if you've ever suppressed emotions and you've swallowed them down, for example, you felt angry, but you didn't get angry, you held it back. Suppressed emotions increase the risk of cancer by 70%. They increase the risk of heart disease by 47%. I wish I'd known this before I was diagnosed with cancer. I wouldn't have swallowed down my anger. I wouldn't have dried up my sadness. I wouldn't have hidden away my guilt with shame. Now, what's the reason we suppress emotions? We suppress emotions because we don't want to hurt other people, number one. Yeah, Dawn, that's so right what you're sharing. The other reason we suppress emotions is it's not safe to be able to share how we truly feel sometimes. We are not conditioned in such an environment. My prayer is that every child in every part of the world learns the gift of what are emotions, learns the gift that emotions are completely natural, and it's what makes us human, what makes us unique, and that every school could teach a child that it's better to let out that emotion than to keep that emotion in, because emotions kept on the inside are toxic and lay the foundation for ill health. Whereas emotions that can be released and they can be let go of create the foundation for health. Go ahead and write an S in chat for me if you've ever suppressed an emotion. It's completely okay if you have. I will teach you a technique right now that you can use on yourself daily to be able to release suppressed or negative emotions. And those of you who registered for this seminar, my colleague Aparna and me will send you an email and a WhatsApp message daily, giving you little bite-sized chunks of learning every single day from tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. IST, where we'll give you little bite-sized chunks of what you can do on a daily basis. So to do this negative release, I want you to wiggle the fingers like this and give me a 100 in chat if you would like me to teach this negative release to you. So you can just quickly type and then come back. Okay, great. So just do this with your fingers, and I want you to find the collarbone. In fact, let me just tuck this in because it'll be a little bit easier. Just tuck this in. Oh, okay, that's great. So I want you to find the collarbone, which is here. And as you find the collarbone, I want you to find the place underneath the collarbone. Not on the collarbone, but underneath the collarbone. And this is the place we're going to tap in a moment. So in a moment, you're going to tap here because there are meridians here that help release negative energy. And the first step, step one, is to just tap like this. And if you want our team to look at you, put the video on and they'll pop by and they'll just let you know, they'll give you a thumbs up that it's good and you're getting the technique right. So go ahead and just tap here, number one. Very good. Excellent. Now, as you take a breath in through the nose, the next step is I want you to make a sound like, ah, but it has to be a big sound because you want to release negativity. You don't want to suppress it. Would you swallow your vomit? No, you wouldn't swallow your vomit. So why would you swallow your emotions? So go ahead and put it here. Breathe in through the nose. Ah. Very good. This is step 1 and step 2. Let me include step 3. Now, step 3, you have to stamp the feet. And the reason to stamp the feet in step 3 is you're having something known as a tantrum. And the reason you're having a tantrum is you're letting it out of your system. So let's begin again. 3, 2, 1. Come here. Breathe in. Ah! Thank you for doing that with me. Give me a B in chat if you feel better than before. Give me a B in chat if you feel better than before. Make sure you take a sip of water. Thank you so much. So this is known as the negative release or tantrum tapping. Now, the next fact is unexpressed anger is known to be linked to cancer. And so you have to find a mechanism to get anger out of the system. The next fact is unforgiveness. If you're unable to forgive people, this can lead to diabetes, to pain, and to heart attack. Whenever I have people come to me and say, I want help with diabetes, this is what I recommend to them. Of course, diet-wise, they have to double the amount of vegetables and double the amount of, say, legume-type protein. And they have to halve the amount of carbohydrates. And the second is they have to sleep a minimum of 8 hours a day. The reason they have to sleep a minimum of 8 hours a day is it lowers the cortisol in the body, the stress hormone. The next is the emotional and mental work is what I recommend. And we've had many that have reversed diabetes as a result. So with diabetes, initially when someone gets diagnosed, it can be a shock. Oh my God, I can't believe I got diagnosed with diabetes. How did this happen to me? So we want to take out the shock first. Then the next thing can happen, there can be anger or fear there. So we want to take out the anger or the fear. The third thing that I usually recommend emotionally and mentally is with diabetes or any kind of autoimmune illness or chronic pain, is I notice that there is this lack of self-love, this lack of self-value, where the person has been about helping others. And so it's about reversing that condition at the root cause. The next part that I recommend in a diabetes treatment is to connect with the past version of ourselves that experienced trauma, powerlessness, and helplessness, and to clear that. And then the final step is to embed positivity into every cell in the body. If anybody wants here a little bit more detail on the diabetes or diabetes article, just put a D in chat and then Aparna will send you that article or a D in the WhatsApp chat, because then it's easier for us to send that article out to you as well. Okay, let me keep going the next part. Now, so what can you do? First is to figure out a way to release stress. Second is to use a clinically proven method to free suppressed emotions. Third is to learn a method to let go of past upsets and trauma. The technique I prefer to use is emotional freedom techniques, and I'll explain in a moment the reason I prefer this. I'm a bit of a geeky scientist, having done my PhD at Oxford University with a full scholarship. So when I found out about EFT, I was very skeptical. I was like, really? Alternate therapy? Does it work? And I investigated over 400 clinical papers and I read them end to end. And this is my summary. EFT has shown that it helps people overcome stress, anxiety, depression, physical pain, and emotional pain. It helps them to heal past negativity, to defeat phobias, for example, small animal phobias like rats, spiders, needle phobias. We've had people who've attended my EFT class. Within 10 minutes, they overcome their fear of heights, their fear of snakes, their fear of spiders, the fear of darkness, the fear of the unknown. So defeat phobias. Heal past trauma and accidents, for example, because if you've been in any kind of accident, car crash, motorbike accident, you know someone that's been in an accident, it's very traumatic to the body. It helps stop cravings to break through limits. So I use EFT with executives as well, with celebrities, with sports professionals to break through their comfort zones and limits to increase their performance. And it works with children and teenagers. Now, one of the big studies conducted was in veterans coming back from the war, specifically from Vietnam. And what they found was when they received 6 sessions of EFT with someone who was only trained in EFT and no other therapeutic modality, that the group with PTSD, they had a reduction of 90% of their PTSD criteria. Now, what are some PTSD symptoms? Startled response, inability to sleep, mood swings, unable to connect with people, unable to engage with people. In fact, let me share a live story with you. I had someone I knew, she was a trainer. She was a trainer for other body workers and massage therapists. I met her in Bali. Her name was Amrita or Elsa. Elsa Bullo was her born name. And Elsa put her hand up to be the demonstration in one of my training courses because she had a phobia of balloons. And she said, I have a phobia of balloons. I'm really scared. Sorry, Sulata. PTSD means post-traumatic stress disorder. What does that mean? It means after a stressful event, like a teacher telling you to shut up, like a parent being aggressive or passive aggressive, after a death, a grief, a loss, some kind of trauma, rape, sexual abuse, physical abuse. For someone, a brother ignoring a sister is traumatic. For somebody else, it's going to be a grief or a loss. We never know. It depends. It's unique to the person. And so Elsa was like, I don't like to go to children's parties. I hate balloons. I don't like balloons. Help me get over this phobia. So I asked her to be the main demonstration, and I used EFT tapping with her. And she uncovered a memory when she lived in East Timor. She was only a little child. And what happened is one day, these military armed guards broke through, her house and started to gun down the people that were in her house. She quickly hid underneath the house because, like in Hong Kong and East Timor, the house is on stirrups. And so there was a space underneath the house where she could hide, but she kept hearing the gunfire, like this above, and it got locked into her energy system. And of course, very traumatic stuff because there was blood coming through, and she knew people were being killed, and she was so young. And so all that got locked in, and we used EFT tapping with her and worked with her one step at a time so she would feel safe. And yet she could free herself within one session versus taking 12, 13 sessions or 2 to 3 or 5 years of therapy. At the end of that one session, she felt very tender. She felt very raw, and she said, I need to rest. And I said, okay. And I didn't check in with her. Is it finished? Is it over? How are you feeling? Because that would be lacking in sensitivity. But I just said, take all the time you need, because in a gut feel on the inside, I had a sense it was over. It was finished. 3 months later, she came on my NLP coach training in Bali. We were at the Four Seasons. And she said, can I take the mic? Can I take the mic? And she came and she sat on the couch. And as she sat on the couch, she pulled out of her back pocket a yellow balloon. And she put it to her mouth and she blew it up. And she said, see, no fear, no fear. I want you to know, though, it's never about the presenting phobia. It's about the amount of energy your body is consuming to keep that fear at bay. Because I've worked with corporate professionals who've had a fear of driving, a fear of needles. And when we clear that fear, their performance at work increases. They can focus better. They can concentrate better. They can sleep better. They have less stress. They get better pay, they get promoted, they present better, all because that fear is not there. Whenever I'm invited to go into corporate and help people concentrate better and focus better, my first question is, what fear do you have? What fear do you have that you're keeping hidden away, that you haven't resolved yet? And some corporates just don't understand this. Some schools just don't understand this. Some principals just don't understand this, that where the magic in performance lies is to uncover the emotional barriers, the emotional interferences in the way of peak performance, health, and vitality. I've worked with sports professionals, marathon runners, catwalk models. I've worked with actors and actresses, both in LA and in Bollywood. And it's staggering to me that whenever we uncover a failure trauma and we clear the failure trauma, performance increases. They get more auditions. They pass their auditions. Their acting is better. Their singing is better. Their engagement with people is better. And so sometimes, so I feel what we need is a radical way of thinking. We need to change our mindset from just opting for a pill or a quick fix to really asking ourselves, what's at the root cause? What's at the root cause of the presenting emotional issue, the presenting physical issue, the presenting mental health issue? Let me keep going. Some more clinical data. EFT has been shown to help students result their test-taking activity versus doing some form of meditative relaxation. It's shown to reduce depression in 73% of college students. You know, I really hope, and if anyone here is a principal in a school or a university, or you're head of a department in a corporate, or you're in charge of an NGO, please volunteer yourself. And the reason I want you to volunteer yourself, and can you volunteer yourself with the word S for service, is the reason is, my prayer is that every college student can learn EFT. Because the amount of suicide rates that I hear about, the amount of kids that commit suicide because they are not taught to handle their emotions. They're not taught to handle their anxiety. They're not taught to handle their stress. They're not taught to overcome their depression. They're not given the counseling support that they need. And even if they get counseling, you see, why does counseling not work? Counseling does not work, guys, fully. Counseling has a place. When someone wants to talk about it, counseling has a place, and it's brilliant and fantastic, but counseling does not heal the root cause. What's the reason? Counseling is working with one part of the brain, the front part of the brain. A technique like EFT, emotional freedom technique, is working with both parts of the brain, the limbic and the cortex. It's working with the front and the back part of the brain. It is a treatment that combines touch with talk. Why is that important? A cognitive experience is not sufficient. Cognitive means a change in thinking. It's not sufficient for a change at the root cause. A technique like EFT is a talk therapy and a touch therapy. It involves touching meridians on the body. It involves touching these tube centers on our body. We have these things known as meridians or tubes. Just like over here, for example, I have a blue vein over here. This is a tube full of blood that is not oxygenated anymore. That's why it's blue. Here I have arteries that are red in color, that have fresh oxygenated blood going into my heart, pumping fresh blood around the body. Just like I have tubes like this and tubes like this, I have these subtle tubes known as meridians or energy tubes. And these meridians or energy tubes transport energy around the body. And these tubes that transport energy around the body, they help us concentrate. They help us focus. They help us sleep better. They help us relax. They help us feel in control. They help us feel at peace. They help us perform well. But if those tubes are blocked, we can feel fearful, angry, helpless, guilty, sad, overwhelmed. We can feel out of our depth. We can feel unable to focus, burnt out. And the thing is, no one taught us this in school, that by tapping on these meridian points, and I'll teach it to you in detail, by tapping on the meridian points on the body, we can actually inject much more energy into our body. We can create much more vitality in our body. Go ahead and take a breath in through the nose with me and out. So with a technique like EFT, it is touch and talk. We know talk is powerful. I'm not saying it's not powerful, but it's not getting to the root cause. And with EFT, you can talk about it, get it off your chest, but you can also get to the root cause by digging around. When was that pattern put in place? When was that illness put in place? When was that fear put in place? And you can go about the reversal process. Go ahead and breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the nose. The mouth. Now, there've also been weight loss studies as well. So with EFT, what they found is there is no diet or exercise regime being followed. And after 4 weeks of EFT, they found study subjects lost 5 kgs on average, and the 5 kgs stayed off. And the 5 kgs stayed off 2 years later, by the way. And they compared it to cognitive behavioral therapy, and they found whilst cognitive behavioral therapy helped to lose weight, but it didn't give lasting results 2 years later. There was a study done in Australia by this researcher known as Pete Stapleton, where she put volunteers into MRI machines and she looked at their brain to work out what's the reason people are losing weight with EFT. And what she did is each participant had this camera object above their eyes. And flashing up in that camera object was one of these craving substances one by one. A baguette, pizza, ice cream sundae, burger and beer, ice cream and cookies, because these are the most popular craving substances around the world, by the way. And so they flashed up in front of them, and then they would monitor the brain activity. And what they found in the brain activities before the subject or person received EFT, there were these orange parts of the brain that lit up, and it's known as the amygdala. And if the amygdala is stimulated, it promotes you to eat craving substances. It's the reason why sometimes you're like, I don't want to have chocolate, but I can't help it. The reason that happens is the amygdala is stressed, cortisol is elevated in the body and goes, eat, 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 and it forces you to eat that substance. When those same study participants receive EFT, after 4 weeks of EFT, these parts of the brain are no longer lit up. Let me show you a little bit more. The amygdala is actually an almond-shaped part of the brain. You can see it here, sort of an orange reddish color. And this is the part of the brain that determines pleasure or pain. It's also responsible for addictions. It's also responsible for pain, physical pain in the body and emotional pain. So when you can lower down the response of this almond-shaped part of the body, you no longer need to reach for an addictive craving. You no longer need to feel physical pain as a result of an accident. So scientifically, that's what's going on. If you would like some of this scientific evidence, go ahead and put an S in chat and we will get you the full list of clinical studies as well. Clinically, what people have also found is with EFT, cortisol comes down, the immune system markers, so we found it staggering. During the time of COVID, we have taught so many people to increase their immune system, boost their immune system. And I'll show you that technique in a moment so you can learn it today, use it on yourself. Pain comes down, PTSD symptoms come down, that's post-traumatic stress disorder. Depression comes down, anxiety comes down, happiness goes up, blood pressure goes down, food cravings goes down. Who here would love to be able to learn a little bit more about EFT to get these kind of results? Give me a 100 in chat. Now, there was another study done where a nutritionist took a pinprick of blood And she looked at that blood under a microscope. And when she looked at that blood under a microscope, what she found was participants who received 2 minutes of non-specific EFT, the blood became free-flowing and not clumped up and stuck together. Clumped up blood stuck together is very dangerous for the heart health. And this nutritionist said, I might as well take my certificates and tear them up, because if I were to see blood like that normally, I would have put them on a year's worth of supplements. Okay, let me share the next exercise with you, so that once we reach 500, this meeting is closed, so we'll not be able to let anybody else in right now. So if I need to do the remaining portion as an FB Live, you need to let me know, but at 500 we are closed, okay? So go ahead and take a breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you want me to teach you this immune boosting technique, give me an I in chat. How much time does it take for a session? Each session is about an hour long, and we recommend a group of 6 sessions minimum. So what I want you to do is, again, let me just open this like this. It'll be easier. So it'll be easier, and just do this with your fingers. From now on, I'll just take a live link on FB, and then Yogi can send them there, and we'll bring the link down afterwards, okay? Okay. Great. So go ahead and begin like this. So we're just, so those of you who are going to join us on the live right now because you've missed coming on the live, just go ahead and do this with your fingers. I'm just teaching the immune boosting right now. As you do this with your fingers, I want you to now make a fist like this. And I want you to find the thymus, which is here. It's like where the breastbone is. Make a fist like this. And I just want you to lightly thump like this, and make a very gentle sound. Let me do that again. Let me actually just take a sip of water. In fact, everyone have a sip of water. Good, let's do that again. Gentle fist. Find the breastbone here and just gently breathe in again. Like if someone were to give you a head massage, it'd be like, like you want the vibration to happen in the throat. Let's do that again. Gentle fist, come here. Breathe in. Lovely. You just boosted your immune system, by the way. Now let's get some free-flowing blood cells. Who would like some free-flowing blood cells and not clumped up cells? Give me a B in chat. Sunday, you don't need to have an intention, but if you'd like an intention, you're more than welcome to have an intention. So let me just teach you the basic tapping sequence, okay? And then this is going to help like get you have free-flowing blood cells. So first tap here and say out loud with me, even though I get stressed sometimes,
I get stressed sometimes,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
Love and accept myself
Even
anyway.
though I get stressed sometimes, I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Third time, even though I get stressed sometimes, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Next point, you want to tap here on the eyebrow. I get stressed sometimes.
I get stressed sometimes.
Side of the eye, I get really stressed.
I get really stressed.
Under the eye, I get so stressed.
I get so stressed.
Under the nose, I get really stressed.
I get really stressed.
Chin, I just get so stressed.
I just get so stressed.
get very stressed.
I get very stressed.
Under the arm, and it's here, like under the arm like this. So I get so stressed.
So stressed.
And then here on the thumb, I get really stressed.
I get really stressed.
I get so stressed.
So stressed.
I get really stressed.
I get really stressed.
I just get so stressed.
I get so stressed.
Even though I get really stressed,
Even though I get really stressed,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
love and accept myself anyway.
So that's the basic tapping round. I'm going to go into it a little bit more in detail. We just did a little bit of non-specific EFT. Just this little tapping would have reduced the stress hormone in your body. Go ahead and take another breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Yashasvi. You're feeling amazing. That's great. Now, there are some celebrities who have also used EFT tapping. There's a theater actor. His name is Michael Ball. He's used it. Lily Allen used it for weight loss. She's a singer. The Olympic athlete used it at the Rio Olympic Games. His name is Barlin Taplin, sorry. Camilla Parker Bowles, the wife of Prince Charles, has used it for a fear of flying. So has the actress Whoopi Goldberg. Madonna is also known to use EFT. Naomi Harris, the Bond girl, is known to use EFT. Of course, Deepak Chopra, famous for his work on Ayurveda, the medical doctor from Harvard University, is a big fan of using it. Gabby Bernstein, the teacher in self-love, she uses EFT frequently. The world famous hypnotherapist, Paul McKenna, uses EFT with hypnotherapy because he finds the results are so much faster. The late Louise Hay would combine EFT with the affirmations, because while affirmations are great, if you have any resistance to the affirmations working, they don't work. So you need something like EFT to make affirmations like more money, better health, better relationships work better. Then Candace Pert, who's the author of the book Molecules of Emotions, she also shares that a technique like EFT resets the chemistry in the body. Let me explain what I mean by that, because it's quite profound. When you feel a happy emotion, you release a happy chemical. When you have a happy chemical in the body, you have better health. When you release a negative emotion in the blood system, so you feel anger or sadness, you release a cascade of negative biochemical reaction in the body. And so with EFT, what they found was that when you use the tapping technique, and say if you're feeling negative, you're feeling angry, you're feeling sad, you can release that, and then you can switch on feeling happy. You can switch on feeling peaceful. You can switch on feeling at peace. And so you start to put in place a series of chemicals in the body known as peptides that can start to heal from the deepest level. You can use any hand here. Thank you so much for sharing, Jasmine. Now, this is what Candace Pert had to say. As your feelings change, this mixture of peptides travels throughout the body and your brain, and they are literally changing the chemistry of every cell in the body. My belief is this technology, the technology of emotional healing, the technology of thought transformation, the technology of mental health change is the future of science. It is the future of medicine, because this is a medicine lust. Of course, it works great in complement as well to medicine and medical treatment. And I'm a strong believer that medical treatment has a place, and it's important to take medical treatment when needed, and it's the right decision. But when complicated, when complemented with emotional and mental health, the results are quicker. And in some cases, people, when they use emotional and mental well-being alone, it can have an impact on their physical health too. Now, there is just normal EFT. So if you go on the internet, you go on YouTube, you go on WhatsApp, you might find there's lots of EFT available. And people that come to me and say, you know, I've learned EFT, but it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked because you haven't learned clinical EFT. You haven't learned EFT the way I teach it. I teach people how to ask the right questions to get to the root of what's going on. I don't teach people to hang around the surface and to have the symptoms coming again and again and again. So I realize some of you might be meeting me for the first time today. Some of you have met me before. Let me just summarize who I am. My name is Rangana Rupavi Chowdhury. I'm originally born in Singapore. I'm Indian. I'm also British. I've lived in the United States. I've lived in Hong Kong. I've lived in Singapore. I've lived in Africa. I was diagnosed at the age of 29 with cancer, chronic pain, and reproductive illness, where I was told I would never be able to have children because my monthly cycle had pretty much come to a halt. I then self-healed with alternate therapy. 2 years after my diagnosis, the cancer cells came out of my body. I am now 49 years old. Do the math. I was diagnosed 29. I'm 49. I am still cancer-free. How many years is that since I have been cancer-free? I heal my daily migraines and pain with EFT tapping. And I'm going to share that story with you in a moment. I've overcome thyroid with inner child healing, which is a more advanced form of EFT. And then when I healed, I quit my day job. I was running a $25 million business, and I was running a $1 billion business in Sweden. I quit the whole thing. I left. And then I formed Vitality Living College, and I've trained 20,000 people worldwide. In fact, if there's anyone on this call who is a therapist, healer, and coach and would like to learn how to get more paying clients without being salesy, can you just put S for me in chat? And my team will give you the link right now of a program I'm doing at the end of this month. I'm a soul boss to help practitioners, healers, therapists, those in the helping profession, how to have, and it's a free seminar, how to launch their business, grow their business, have a thriving business. Because through my life experience of running businesses from 0 to 25 million in 5 years, I've learned some tips and techniques, and I've learned the mistakes not to do. And so my prayer is that every healer, therapist, coach, counselor in the world is equipped with these skills. So let me share with you how I actually got into EFT. I was a big non-believer in EFT. I was a massive non-believer in anything to do with alternate health and healing. Thank you so much. I can see so many of you put S in chat. So Aparna will give it to you on the WhatsApp group as well so that you can access it there. So what happened was I was at my sister's house and I had this terrible migraine. If you've ever had any pain in your body, you can give me a P in chat as well. This terrible migraine riveting down my neck and my shoulders. I was so used to taking a paracetamol and codeine every single day. I was not really interested in taking anything else in terms of emotional or mental health because I was very short-sighted and small-minded. So this one day, excuse me, I just need to take a little water. This one day I was at my sister's house and my sister was teaching her first EFT class. And I told my mom, Ma, I've got this really bad headache. And Ma said, can I use this EFT tapping technique on you? I was like, no, you can't. Don't touch me. Take it away from me. You know I don't believe in any of this alternate therapy, mental health, voodoo, and I used some more expletives I'm not proud of to basically tell her to back the off, okay? My mom, being my mom though, she's a skillful negotiator and she knew I love head massages. So she said, my pet name is Deepa. She calls me Deepa, D-E-E-P-A, and not Rangana. She says, Deepa, if you let me do this EFT technique on you, and your headache goes down, I will give you a head massage. If your headache goes up, I will give you a head massage. I thought, Ma, you need to be my stockbroker, man. This is brilliant. No matter what, I'm going to win. I said, yeah, sure, done deal. Shook her hands, and there she started EFT with me. So she said, Deepa, what number is the headache at? And I said, Ma, it's a 10 on 10 headache. She said, oh, okay. And is there a color? I said, my mom's gone a little mental. She thinks there's a color in my headache, but suddenly popped out of the mouth the color red. And Ma said, tap along with me. We did it together. And she said, say out loud after me, even though
even though
I have this headache,
I have this headache,
it's at a number 10,
it's at a number 10,
it's a red in color,
it's red in color,
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I have this headache,
Even though I have this headache,
it's a red in color,
it's red in color,
it's 10 on 10.
it's 10 on 10.
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
You can do it with me as well, using my words, and you'll notice you'll find a benefit. Even though
I
have this headache,
I have this headache,
it's a red in color,
it's red in color,
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself anyway.
love and accept myself anyway.
And then Ma said to me, tap here. So we tapped here, red headache.
Red headache,
Then here in the temple, 10 on 10.
10 on 10.
Under the eye, red headache.
Red headache,
Under the nose, 10 on 10.
10 on 10.
Chin, red headache.
Red headache,
Collarbone, red headache.
red headache,
Under the arm, red headache.
red headache,
Red headache.
red headache.
10 on 10.
10 on 10.
Red headache.
Red headache,
10 on 10.
10 on 10.
Even though
I
have this red headache,
I have this red headache,
and it's a 10 on 10,
and it's a 10 on 10,
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself anyway.
love and accept myself anyway.
My mother told me to hold this part of the body, and I'll explain it in a bit. Breathe in and out. Take a sip of water. And then my mother said to me, what number is the headache at? To my shock, it had come down to a 7. That had never happened to me. For 2 years, I was taking paracetamol and codeine every day. Codeine is so addictive. I would pop a pill, I'd be like, whoa, feels good. 2 hours later, I'd need a pill again. And I was damaging my liver. Great question. The reason we skip the ring finger is the meridian is on the other side. And the founder of the technique, Gary Craig, wasn't sure people would remember. So that's the only reason we skip it. If you tap on this side, though, nothing bad will happen. You won't suddenly grow devil horns. But this is actually where you tap. The other thing is this meridian is also catered on the face. So if you leave it out, it doesn't matter at all. So what are the 7 steps to EFT? The first step is to identify the issue or the goal. The second step is to get a measure for it. The third step is to start tapping on the side of the hand. The reason we tap on the side of the hand is sometimes there can be a block to a therapy working. And there are meridians on the side of the hand that basically jumpstart the energy system, like putting jumper cables on a car to get the car moving, like spark plugs. And so you can begin by tapping here on this part of the body. Now, so start by tapping here. And we begin by saying the statement 3 times. Even though I have this issue, I love and accept myself. The statement has 3 parts to it. Let me explain that. First part, even though. Second part, the problem that I have, which might be physical pain, stress, anxiety, depression. The third part is an affirmation. I love and accept myself. Now, the next part of the process is tap on the upper body point. So here, the eyebrow, temple, under the eye, under the nose, chin, collarbone, under the arm, thumb, and it's on this side of the nail. Index finger, middle finger, skip the ring finger, little finger, and then we close the sequence step 5 by coming back to the karate chop point and saying the words, even though I have this problem, I love and accept myself. And then you take a gentle breath in and out. Take a sip of water. And then test how you're feeling. Let me go in a little bit more detail. Step 1, identify goal or issue. The type of questions you can ask is, what do you want? What issue do you want to solve? How does it make you feel? At the end, we will let you know how you can access a manual as well as videos with more information on the basics of EFT. Step 2 is you get a measure for it. So you ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you give it? Where 10 is uncomfortable or 1 is not uncomfortable at all. Step 3 is you start tapping on the side of the hand. Even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. You do it 3 times when you're learning it at the early stages. Of course, my skilled practitioners no longer do it 3 times, and they're trained in advanced methods to get to the root cause quickly. Step 4 is you tap on the tapping point, so side of the eye, eyebrow, side of the eye or temple, under the eye, under the nose, chin, collarbone, under the arm. And you tap while saying statements out loud, and then you close, you come back to the karate chop point. Even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Step 6 is you take a gentle breath in, not a vigorous breath, but gentle breath in and out. Take a sip of water and reflect on how you are feeling. Step 7, you ask yourself, or your practitioner would ask you, how are you feeling? What happened? And you say great no matter what they respond. If they say it's worse than before, you reply with great. If they say it's the same with before, you reply with great. If it's better than before, you reply with great, because you're letting the unconscious know that it's safe to speak the truth. Okay, so who here is with me so far? Give me a 100 in chat. If you're getting something from this, you're learning something. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to give you some examples of benefits people have experienced with EFT. And then I'm going to do an exercise with us together on constricted breathing. And then I'm going to do an exercise, how can you use it for physical tension as well. So let me just give you some examples, and then feel free to ask me if in my examples I don't cover a situation that you have. So this is a gentleman named Dr. Rajesh. He's a naturopathic doctor from Mumbai. He came on my EFT training, and he found on the first day, after 20 minutes, his age-old back pain healed when I taught him how to get to the root cause of his physical tension. Sejal Mehta, she's a trainer and a therapist in Mumbai. She had swelling on her legs and her feet, and she had fibromyalgia, that is debilitating pain. And she had it for 7 to 8 months, and she learned EFT. She used what I taught her that evening. So I taught her a deep way of clearing a past memory. That evening, she went home, she used it on herself. She came in the next day and she said, I don't have fibromyalgia anymore. This is Dr. Purnima. She was a professor in pharmacy. She came on my training in Mumbai. She was forced by her husband. And to her shock, the swelling in her legs, her edema, disappeared within the introductory seminar that I was doing. This was Avni. She was in London. She learned EFT and she was motivated to shed 20 kilograms in 12 weeks as a result. This is her before picture. This is her after picture. Daisy was a working mom. Her son was diagnosed with a learning disability. She noticed her son's grades dropped. So after EFT, she was able to concentrate. So I teach this in my practitioner training, where I teach people how can you actually help children and teenagers. If any of you would be interested to know more about our practitioner training, can you just put a PR in chat where you want to learn how to use it on teenagers, children, maybe therapeutically, clinically, add it to your toolbox as well. Just put a PR in chat if you want to find out more about practitioner training. Okay, so the next example, this is Emma. I met her in London. And she used to love chocolate bar, chocolate known as Galaxy. And she did the EFT tapping on that. And then she went home and she was no longer craving chocolates. Her son, though, wasn't very happy because he didn't get chocolate cake on his birthday because mom no longer was eating chocolate cake. Emma came back the next year and she gave up her biscuit craving and she could fit into a lower size dress size as a result of releasing the chocolate craving. This is Sri Kumar. He came on my training in Delhi and he eliminated 28 years of emotional pain through one session of EFT. This is Smita Pandey. She's in Cambodia right now. She went on to qualify as an EFT practitioner. She said she never felt happy inside. And after 3 days of training, she said, I've never felt so uplifted in my life. This is Sadhana. She came from Iran. She was in India. She was learning yoga. She was also a Reiki master and a yoga teacher. And she just came on training just to go through the motions. And what she found was that she went back home to Iran after training. And she looked through the boxes of her old photographs. And she said to me, I no longer feel pain or anger. And I didn't even work on those memories. I just went through the motions, technique by technique, because I teach techniques to release stress, to clear limiting beliefs for fears and phobias. I teach techniques for deep trauma, like people who've lost people in September 11th, for example, how to reverse anger, sadness, hurt, guilt. And she just went through it technique by technique by technique. And she found that she was free from that past pain. So let me now share with you how you can use EFT for, and I'll explain to you a little bit more about the root cause as well. Constricted breathing. So I want everyone to take a breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I want you to notice where in the body do you feel any tension as you breathe in and out? And what's the quality? And I want to focus on breath first. I don't want to go yet to anxiety and depression. I want to focus first on breathing, because if we can get the breathing right, the rest is a little bit easier. So first, just take a breath in, letting it out. And I want you to notice on a scale of 1 to 10, how tight is your breath, where 10 is really tight and 1 is not tight at all, where 10 is really constricted and 1 is not constricted at all. And I want you to notice what number is it at between 1 and 10. Put the number in chat for me and put for me in chat, what does it feel like? Is it tight? Is it constricted? What does it feel like? Is it tight? Is it constricted? Tight, thank you. Is it heavy? What's it like? Give me some words to describe it. Punch, you can just notice in your body, maybe tight is not the right word. Just notice how it feels. Notice if there's any kind of physical sensation. Not going below my lungs. Yeah, that's a great measure. Tight and heavy, held back, blocked. Thank you. Calm, feels blocked, blockages, tight in stomach. Great description. So let's do a little experiment and let's just stay open to what might happen to your breathing. Begin by tapping on the side of the hand. And as you start tapping on the side of the hand, say out loud with me, even though.
Even though.
My breathing feels really tight.
My breathing feels really tight.
I can feel it in my chest.
I can feel it in my chest.
It feels really blocked.
It feels really blocked.
It feels so blocked.
It feels so blocked.
It feels really restricted.
It feels really restricted.
It feels heavy.
It feels heavy.
It feels tight and
It
heavy.
feels tight and heavy.
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Even though
My
breathing feels tight
breathing feels tight
and my breathing feels heavy
and my breathing feels heavy
and it feels shallow,
and it feels shallow.
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself anyway.
love and accept myself anyway.
Even though
My
breathing feels tight,
my breathing feels tight.
my breathing feels heavy,
My breathing feels heavy,
so heavy,
so heavy.
makes me feel anxious.
Makes me feel anxious.
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Eyebrow feels really tight,
Feels really tight.
feels heavy.
Feels heavy.
My jaw tightens.
My jaw tightens.
It just feels so blocked.
It feels so blocked.
Suppose somehow I could breathe freely now.
I could breathe freely now.
What if
What if
my breath could open up?
my breath could open up?
My chest could open up.
My chest could open up.
I could open up.
I could open up.
Suppose somehow I could open up completely.
Suppose somehow I could open up
And you can use
completely.
either hand. You can do it like this as well. Either hand. What if I could open up?
What if I could open up?
Suppose somehow all of me could open up.
Suppose somehow all of me could open up.
What if my shoulders could open up?
What if my shoulders could open up?
What if I could open up to life being this way?
What if I could open up to life being this way?
Suppose somehow I could release the stress of life.
I could release the stress of life.
And I could remain really open.
And I could remain really open.
Even though
I
wish I could open up.
I wish I could open up
Fully.
fully.
And what if I could breathe more deeply now?
What if I could breathe more deeply now?
What if I could breathe more freely now?
What if I could breathe more freely now?
Take a breath in and let it out. Hold this part and breathe in and out. If you feel better than before, give me a B in chat. If you feel the same as before, give me an S in chat. If you feel worse than before, give me a W in chat. I'm noticing so many of you saying, awesome, amazing, oh my God, it worked. That's EFT. Can shift your breath within seconds and minutes. Can you imagine if you can shift your breath where I've just used your general words? What's it going to be like when you learn it and you learn how to use it to shift anxiety, when you learn how to use it to lift depression, when you learn how to use it to clear pain, when you learn how to use it to lift fears and phobias? I wonder what it'd be like when you could learn it inside out and use it on yourself to free yourself. And then those of you who are therapists, can you imagine if you can add this now to your toolbox? and you start to have something that's a great complement to psychotherapy, to counseling, to yoga, to Ayurveda, to Reiki, and now you're starting to get quicker results. What would it mean to your clients? Tell me, those of you in profession, what would it mean to your clients if instead of doing 12 months of therapy, they could have 6 months of therapy with you? What would that mean to them? Would they be happier? Would they be less happy? Give me an H in chat if you'd have happier clients. What would it mean to you financially if you could charge your clients more and spend less time working, seeing fewer clients? Give me an F in chat if it would mean the world to you financially, knowing that you have a better work-life balance, you can plan that holiday you've always wanted to go on. Yeah, absolutely. It would mean the world to you, because now you've got a tool in your hand that you know works, that you know all the steps and how to use it. And plus, the way we train you is we train you inside out, how to take a client from zero to healing. And the amount of testimonials I receive from my students that tell me, my client, their client testimonials, they feel better. Thank you. My pain is gone. Thank you. My phobia is gone. Thank you. I've received more money from my company. Thank you. They give me their testimonials. Okay, let's keep going. I want to show a little bit more now on the root cause. And I'll take some questions after I've done that. So you can have something known as surface symptoms and the deeper root cause. So in my case, I had these daily headaches and they made me feel helpless. And I said to myself, I must not say the word helpless, because if I'm helpless, that means I'm weak and I can't be weak. And when I inquired further, I noticed that I couldn't say no. And what I really wanted was Dad's approval. I felt like I must prove myself. And when I worked on the root cause and the root cause of my overwork, my headaches simply vanished. My headaches went down from every day, and there were vomiting headaches every day, to once a week, to every 2 weeks, to once a month, to every 3 months, to every 6 months, to now maybe once or twice a year when I get those debilitating, nauseating migraines because I worked at the root cause. This is Elsa with her yellow balloon. I already shared her story with you. This was Uma. She came on training because she had a fear of public speaking. She's now a public speaker, by the way, on LinkedIn, on YouTube as well, as a result of clearing. Do you know fear of public speaking is the #1 most common fear in the world? So this is great news for therapists, healers, and coaches who want to have more clients, who want to make a difference to people's lives. This is an area, if you specialized in, it is pain for people, and they are happy to invest in coaching, in therapy, in counseling to help them overcome that fear and phobia. Because if now they can present in public, if now they can present in the workplace, they're going to get a promotion. They're going to get a better job. They're going to feel more confident in themselves. So what I find with our practitioners, they not only are making a difference to themselves in healing, is what I find is that when they do work with clients, they do work with patients, they can work with many more because now they have more in their toolbox and they're working interventionally versus just on the surface. This is Shani. She used to have panic attacks. She's in the UK. She couldn't go on the tube, the metro, the underground. Can you imagine how debilitating it is for someone not being able to freely travel, and she's living in fear of where to go? And so in our training, she freed herself from these panic attacks. This is Mary Christie, who had a fear of confined spaces, where that fear was gone in 15 minutes based on the skills she learned during EFT practitioner training. This is Apurva. She had thyroid symptoms. She did my EFT and inner child matrix training. And what she found was that she became thyroid free because she had a belief that if she still has thyroid, she can't get married. She freed herself from thyroid. She went on to marry, and she lives in the United States currently. EFT has been known to be used for different kinds of phobias, from public speaking, dentists, rats, spiders, roaches, needles, driving, snakes, heights, water, to physical pain, panic attacks, sadness, shame, stress, self-image, sexual abuse, sports issues, trauma, war memories, weight loss. If I haven't covered something here, you can mention it to me in chat because I'm going to take questions in a moment. So that if you can just get ready with the questions people are asking, you can just prioritize them first with the therapeutic questions. So I can address the therapeutic questions first. Anxiety, auto accident, boredom, claustrophobia, depression, grief, guilt, headaches, insomnia, limiting beliefs, and of course, love, pain, and heartbreak. This is the case of our psychologist, Divya. When she learned EFT, she found she could now help her patients heal in a much shorter span of time versus with just counseling psychology on its own. She noticed rapid, but also palpable results within the session, within one session itself, even for deep-rooted trauma. This is Neeraj. He's a corporate trainer. He has used EFT with over 3,000 people the way I taught it to him. He learned EFT on YouTube before and it never worked for him. It's because he didn't learn how to get to the root cause. When he learned that with me, he could be in a corridor with a corporate VP, head of HR, do a short intervention with them, and their issue would pretty much resolved. And they tended to have issues like fear of public speaking, confidence, but not deep trauma. Deep trauma is going to take longer than sort of 15 minutes in a corridor. This was Anushri. She's also a counseling psychologist. She found that negative emotions are released faster through a safe mechanism, which provides her clients relief in just a couple of sessions. So I want to share with you, you have two options right now. In a moment, I'm going to give you a link that you can book, and you can book a complimentary consultation call in a moment where you can discuss your own area, and then I'm going to answer all your questions. You've got two options right now. The first is to do nothing, take the information, we'll send you the videos, and nothing further than that, which is what I did all those years ago when I was popping paracetamol and codeine. I had a sense of healing and health, but I didn't have enough humility to go down that route and learn it for myself. And then I continued to damage my liver and my kidneys as a result. Or you can take step number 2 is take the next step in your personal or professional healing journey. And these are a couple of your next steps. The first is to explore EFT tapping as part of a personal development or self-healing journey. If you feel this is you, describes you, give us an E in chat. The mini option underneath that is learn EFT for your self-healing. Give me an L in chat if you want to learn it for your self-healing. Give me a P in chat if you want to learn it. Sorry, if you want to receive personal one-to-one sessions with a professional practitioner. Give me a P in chat if you want to learn it professionally. Sorry, if you want to receive professional sessions one-to-one from a therapist, give me a P in chat. Give me B for both. If you want to learn it for yourself and you want to receive personal one-to-one confidential private sessions to work through your personal issue. Now, if you want to get professionally qualified as an EFT practitioner, give me a PRO in chat, not a P. Give me a PRO in chat. If you want to become professionally qualified, you're already qualified, you want to do this as a profession, you want to dive deep into it, you want to learn, is this right for you? Now, if you already are qualified in the helping profession and you want to add EFT to your therapy, coaching, or healing toolbox, give me a T in chat. You want to add it in your therapy, coaching, or healing toolbox. Now, if you're someone that you want to gain mastery in EFT, you don't just want to learn the basic level. You want to learn the basic level, and you want to learn something that I teach on as inner child matrix, where you get to the root of the trauma, the powerlessness, and the helplessness. And you want to go on to do what I and my trainers do today, which is share EFT with groups of people where you want to master it. Go ahead and put an M in chat. In a moment, I'm going to give you a free booking form that you can book. Those of you who feel you want to master it, when you receive that booking form and booking link, I'll tell you what to write in there, because for the first few people that come through, I will personally speak to you, because I'm committed to those who want to master this subject as a profession. Now, this is what you have to do next, is you're going to book a complimentary consultation call where one of our coaches, and for the mastery people, I will be there for a few of you, will have a conversation with you. They'll chat to you about what you want, where are you today, they'll brainstorm your options with you, and then should you want to learn more about the practitioner training, they'll go into it in detail. They'll explain all the modules to you. They'll explain to you what's the time investment involved and what's the financial investment involved, so you can take an informed yes/no decision. For those of you that training is not right for, they will also clearly let you know that this training is not right for you. And instead, these are the better options for you. Are they allowed to let you know? Am I allowed to let you know if this is not right for you? Am I allowed to let you know if it is right for you? Give me a 100 in chat if I'm allowed to be honest with you, because this training may not be for everybody, by the way. So this is what you need. You need this link, and I think team is going to give it to you right now. So there's it showing up, the link. So you need this link, and when you get this link, you can book your complimentary discovery call. You put your name in, like I'm showing you right now, and then you click on book your free call. And when you click on that link, it may ask you to verify. It's asking me because I clicked the link earlier to test it. And then it'll open up with a page like this. It'll open up with a page like this. So here, if you click the 17th, say if you wanted the first slot, 11 a.m., I'm going to just pick, I think I'll pick a different date because otherwise you'll not get that slot. So if I just pick 6 p.m. on, and I click confirm, it opens up with a second page where I put my name, I put my email ID, and then I put which city I live in. The reason I put the city in is we just want to make sure time zone wise, we are contacting you at the right time. Put the number in. And then this is where you have to choose the option you want. If you want to have the consultation call to discover if EFT is right for personal development and personal self-healing, where you want to learn it, to use it on yourself and receive confidential sessions from someone, click the first one. If you feel that you want professional certification and you're doing something for the first time, you're not qualified in anything else, you want to click first time and you want professional certification. If you are already a therapist, you're already trained in something else, you want to add it to your toolbox, click on already a therapist, professional certification. If all you want is one-to-one personal sessions, you don't want any training, you just want to explore, can EFT help you with one-to-one personal sessions? Click the fourth box. Those of you who want to master EFT, you want to click on other, and you want to put the words master in. You want to put the words master in. So then I can pick the first 5 that come through. And please do write that if you genuinely are looking to master it, because usually I partner with those people directly and take them through their transformation journey. Also write here, what's the outcome for your call? Put where you would like the text message so you can get the reminder for the call, and then click on schedule event.